We've learned after 12 years of review, looking at it, that we needed more specificity, and this is what we came up with from our working group.
Mr. Chair, I'm concerned that over time there could be serious damage to our wetlands, and I would prefer to stand with Ducks Unlimited on this one versus DNR people who could be subjected to political pressure.
I appreciate that there was discussions at first with some of these outdoors groups, but simply inviting them in the room before and then talking about the process over the last few weeks did not constitute consensus. And that's why I was talking to them, because they were saying, here's where we thought we were moving towards agreement. This is where when they came before us, they were saying, well, we still hope we can get some of these amendments. And you at the time, last week, we were here, had said that you were willing to take up some of these amendments, take up some of these things. And some of their most important priorities, were turned down. You've said twice now that, yes, we may end up having to tackle this again in the future. Let's just solve it now. Let's make sure that we're not overcorrecting. Let's make sure we're not going over a housefly with a cannonball.
My response, first of all, let me be exceedingly clear. No one was locked out. No one. Discussions were had with the Wetlands Association and others, including Senator Jauch, which you will see one of the other amendments here. So just let me be very clear to everybody in this room. The process has to come to an end at some point. Everybody doesn't get everything they want. They can go home sad, but everybody's gone away from this process, and this bill is a lot. And, you know, every piece of legislation that I've ever written, that you've ever written, anybody here, there will be times people come back and revisit any and all of our pieces of legislation. It's just like when you set a record for touchdowns or yardage in football. Somebody comes and breaks the record at some point in time. And that's great. That's what this is all about. But I want you to understand that we have worked really long and hard. You know, and at some point in time you have to say, you know what? It's the fourth quarter, and I don't want to use just all football analogies. You know, the 2-minute warning has come, and we're down to the last few plays of the game. You know, you still have your opportunities if you want to try to do things on the floor. But for today's purpose of passing this bill out of committee, and I will support this on the floor as well, I think we've done our level best. That doesn't mean that something, you know, there might be some changes and things that myself as the author may be open to between here and when we do get to the floor. But I feel comfortable with where we're at today. Is this a perfect bill? No, there isn't such a thing as a perfect bill. But I think it's a very, very, very good bill. I think it's an improved bill. I read the blogs. I see some of the nasty things that have been said by some people that are even sitting in this room. I mean, I had people making accusations that this was a piece of legislation written by the Builders Association. What an insult. I don't say that person in this room today, but they know who they are. That to me is a slap in the face, because I've never legislated like that, nor would any of my colleagues that served and worked on this thing together with me would ever do that. So this doesn't favor one side or the other. This is about wetlands. This is about improving the process. This is about creating some more opportunities. It's about something I'm extremely near and dear to the outdoors. Wetlands are extremely important to me. I built a reputation on this. My reputation at stake with this bill. I would do nothing to tarnish my reputation. You may not possibly be able to vote for it in its final form, but I would encourage you to, and to realize that the intent is good. The intent is to help save, create, enhance more and better. Again, perfection is something I don't think we ever see in any legislation, but this is our best effort, and now the time has come that we have to move ahead, and then we'll let the bill play its way through and let the chips fall where they may.